this is the only game where everybody playing in it is willing to die for everybody watching it, which is pretty powerful when you think about a statement like that.
Go get me some knowledge.
But I think about it from the perspective of when I was at the Naval Academy, I had no intention of ever playing in the NFL. Obviously, it was like a far-flung dream. But the majority of us were at the academies because the NFL wasn't in the cards. Like, we knew it. Like, we knew it when we showed up. And then now with the influx of NIL and transfer portals and all that, it's like these kids, that's not available to them either. This is just guys out there who want to play hard, who want to put out the best football possible, and really just want to show the other guys on the other sideline that they're as tough as they say they are. And it's an inspiring thing to be a part of. And I think when you think about that perspective, when you think about everything that college football is and who's going to make the playoff and who's going to do this and who's making $10 million in NIL, they're like, no, all we want to do is go beat up the other guy across from me. That's it.
So why the Naval Academy? What was it about the Naval Academy that was intriguing to you?
Yeah, I come from a Navy family. My dad served 24 years between active duty and the reserves in a Navy town in San Diego. So I knew what the Navy could do for my life. Like I got to grow up in a suburb of San Diego. I enjoyed everything about that. I enjoyed watching the planes go over, seeing aircraft carriers, and I had that experience of being around the military from a young age. So for me to have an understanding of what the Navy is, and then also to have the perspective of my dad, who was like served on the enlisted side, and he knew what it was to go to the Naval Academy, to go to an institution like that, what it means for the rest of your life, not just your college years, not just, hey, go play football there. This is a totally different viewpoint on where my life would go if I went to the Naval Academy. So when they recruited me, it was like a no-brainer. Like, I had to do it when I got the opportunity to apply, to get in, and then to go to the prep school, and then eventually the academy.
So explain to everybody how it works. I don't think a lot of people understand. You get recruited. There is no NIL money. You're basically on a scholarship, but everybody is when they go there, because once you are done, you are committing 4 years of your life to, whether it be the Army or the Navy, either one. Do they give you a grace period where, okay, the first year, tell me if you like it. You have the option to keep going for your next 3 years, or to say, nah, not for me. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So you're pretty much right in the mechanisms. Yeah, the timelines, it's 2 years up front. Your freshman, sophomore year, you can still, hey, I have cold feet about doing this, and you have an out. But the day you show up your junior year, you're committed to the 5 years post-graduation. You're committed to service, or you're on the hook for this education that you've been afforded for 2+ years at that point.
I mean, on the hook. So if you decide to bail, do you have to pay the money back?
Yeah. So if you decide to bail, or you get kicked out for misconduct or whatever it is, or if you flunk out, which, hey, that happens, you are on the hook. You got to pay back the taxpayer.
If they flunk out, you're paying me back.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the case. They always leave that out. Whenever I've spoken to a cadet or a midshipman, I never hear that part of it.
You don't want to talk about it while you're there, because you sign that paper and they put a big figure there. It's $180K after 2 years, and you're like,
really?
Like, I can't do that.
That's some pressure.
Yeah, if you flunk out, you're either paying it back, or you're going to the enlisted fleet and you're serving from E1. You're probably chipping paint and earning back that pound of flesh that the military is giving you.
That's a lot of pressure, because as a plebe, which you were your first season, your first semester there, you're a plebe. Could you break down the time commitment? Because it's insane, the amount of things that you are responsible for and the time commitment, especially if you're playing sports.
Sure. Yeah, no. So the moment you show up at school, you enter into plebe summer. That's what they call it. That's the basic training period. I think it's 6 to 8 weeks of just like intensive military training. it's not about football then. Like, even though you're talking about July, your focus isn't, hey, I got to get ready for the season. Your focus is, I'm going to PT in the morning. I'm getting yelled at and I'm getting shaped into a military member.